Here we have number 4. For number 4, we are asked to find the domain and find the range. Well, to find the domain and range, we just have to look at the graph. We can see that this graph has 2 endpoints. We have a closed circle there, it's filled in, and we have an arrow over here. So now we just need to know what those points mean. Well, we have this closed circle at -4, so that means that this closed circle at that point, the value of -4 will be included. So we know that our function of x, when it's f of -4, it will be included. It will be true. Now, as we go along this line, all these values will also be true, and eventually we'll get to this arrow, which just means that this line will go on forever and ever, and it's just never going to stop. So if it's never going to stop, then that means this line goes to infinity. So now we need to write that. We need a way of expressing it, and the way of expressing it is saying that it's -4 less than or equal to x less than infinity. We say less than or equal to 4. Right, -4 needs to be less than or equal to x because all of these x values are less than, or they're going to be greater than -4, but we're saying -4 is less than those x values. And it needs to be less than infinity. It will never be less than or equal to infinity because you cannot be equal to infinity because infinity is not a number, it's a concept. Now when we're looking at the range, for the range, we're not looking at the x values anymore. We're looking at the y values. So we're going to look at the lowest y value, the lowest this graph goes, and for the most part, it looks like it's going to be right here at -2. And for the y values, again, it's going to be this arrow over here. So that's how high it goes. And just like we said before, the arrow means it's going to go on forever. And because this is a solid line, it's going to be equal to this -2. If this line were, imagine it were dashed, so I'm adding my imaginary dashes here. If this were dashed, some sort of dashed line, then we wouldn't say that it's equal to any points that it touches. But in this case, it touches that -2 down there, so it's going to be equal to it because it's a solid line. So when we're trying to express this, we're going to say -2 is less than or equal to y, because y needs to be bigger than or equal to -2, and y also needs to be less than infinity, just like we said before. Can't make it equal to because infinity is not a number.